Have you ever wondered why some thoughts seem to echo in your mind, shaping your feelings and decisions long after they first arise? The answer isn't magic. It's a hidden power within you, waiting to be harnessed through self-reflection. This book will be your guide to uncovering that inner dialogue, helping you gain clarity and emotional strength by understanding how to truly listen to yourself. Step into a journey where the quietest reflections become the loudest catalysts for change, and each chapter brings you closer to the version of yourself you've always desired to meet. Thought Echo, Harnessing Reflection for Mental Clarity, written and published by Awaken Vision. Chapter 1. Have you ever felt like your days blend into each other, each thought and routine repeating itself until the spark that once drove you seems to have grown faint? It's a challenge so many face. The sense that somewhere along the line, you lost touch with the fire inside that made life feel vivid and full of promise. Maybe you get up, rush through a busy schedule, interact with people, and smile out of habit, but deep down you have a nagging suspicion that you're moving through life on autopilot. This dull ache doesn't have to define you. It's a signal, a quiet invitation to stop and pay attention. The truth is, if you're longing for a deeper meaning, it's because your mind is asking you to rekindle your inner flame. This chapter starts with a simple promise. Whatever you feel right now, no matter how disconnected or weary, you still have the power to rediscover your sense of purpose. Understanding the importance of this challenge is about recognizing what it really costs us to go through our lives without reflection. When you aren't truly connected to your thoughts and emotions, opportunities slip by unnoticed. Days carry on, full of unasked questions and unexplored dreams, because the mental clarity you need is clouded by distractions. It's easy to believe this is just how adulthood looks, with responsibilities crowding out your curiosity. But the reality is, every great change, every spark that turns into a flame within you, begins the same way, with awareness. If you notice you're lacking inspiration, don't treat it as a weakness. Treat it as an invitation to reclaim what's yours. Picture a time when you felt fully alive, maybe in childhood or during a rare moment of freedom, a day when hours seemed endless and colors looked brighter. What changed? Perhaps life became a maze of obligations, expectations, and routines. For Emily, a school teacher juggling deadlines and family life, exhaustion became her normal state. She'd come home, collapse on the couch, and wonder, is this all there is? The yearning for more didn't mean she was ungrateful. It meant something within her wanted attention. Or think of Alex, who poured all his energy into his job, building success by most standards, but one day realized the passion that had once fueled him now felt like a distant echo. These stories aren't unique. They're reflections of the patterns we all slip into when daily busyness drowns out self-reflection. If you recognize yourself in these snapshots, you're not alone. The first step to transformation is seeing your current experience clearly and believing you're worthy of something brighter. Even in the midst of the heaviest routines or most challenging days, there is a spark inside you that remembers what it's like to dream, to hope, and to feel connected. Self-reflection is the key that can unlock this dormant energy and gently guide it back to life. As you journey through this book, let yourself believe in this possibility. Right now, you are standing at the edge of a new beginning, one where you start listening to the whispers within and ignite the flame that's always been waiting for you. The solution to reigniting your inner flame begins with intentional self-reflection. This is the practice of pausing for a few minutes each day to truly listen to yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your aspirations, and your doubts. Self-reflection is not about criticizing yourself or cataloging your shortcomings. Instead, it's about developing an honest awareness of what you experience on the inside and understanding how those inner patterns influence every moment of your life. When you slow down and check in with yourself, you create space to notice what energizes you, what drains you, and what you might be longing for. By becoming more aware of your own thought patterns, you can begin to understand what's driving your current mood, behaviors, and decisions. Research in psychology consistently shows that people who make time for self-reflection are more motivated, adaptable, and resilient. They are able to recognize their needs and make choices that bring them greater satisfaction and meaning. The reason self-reflection works is surprisingly simple. The mind needs room to process experiences and to learn from them. If you move too fast from one task to the next, you never truly absorb what each day has to offer, nor do you get to integrate the lessons of past successes or failures. Think about how much clarity you gain when you pause to look back at what worked and what didn't after finishing a big project or having an important conversation. This act of processing allows you to build on your strengths and identify where you want to improve. In everyday life, even spending just 5 minutes in the morning or before bed with a notebook can help you recognize small sparks of enthusiasm or sources of stress. Those insights are like matchsticks for your inner flame. With every quiet moment of reflection, you add another piece of kindling, fueling a slowly growing fire inside you. This solution is powerful, not because it avoids struggle, but because it teaches you to move through life with a sense of curiosity and self-guidance. When you develop a habit of reflection, you naturally become more mindful and compassionate toward yourself. You begin to see patterns that previously slipped beneath your awareness. You start to question assumptions about what you're supposed to do, and instead you focus on what truly matters to you. This makes it possible to break the cycle of autopilot living. Your days feel less repetitive, and you no longer feel like a stranger to your own mind. In those moments when life feels overwhelming or dull, reflective practice acts like a lighthouse, gently steering you back toward your core purpose. Ultimately, learning to ignite the flame within using self-reflection is about reclaiming your power. You realize that you don't have to wait for circumstances to change or permission from others to feel alive and purposeful. Each day, the simple act of tuning into yourself helps clear away mental fog so you can see your life with new eyes and renewed hope. Self-reflection is both the spark and the fuel that keeps your inner fire burning, reminding you just how possible change is, no matter where you're starting from. As you practice, you'll find that the answers you most need are often waiting quietly, ready to guide you forward. Adopting the practice of self-reflection promises a cascade of positive changes in your life. Once this habit takes root, you'll notice more clarity in your thoughts, increased motivation each morning, and greater resilience when obstacles arise. Self-reflection empowers you to respond thoughtfully instead of automatically reacting to situations, which means your emotional responses become more balanced and your decision-making feels more in tune with your core values. You'll develop a stronger sense of self-belief, forging a path to personal goals that once felt out of reach. Relationships begin to benefit too, because understanding yourself helps you communicate thoughtfully and connect more authentically with others. Even when faced with setbacks or uncertainty, reflection transforms challenges into lessons, encouraging a mindset that sees every hurdle as a stepping stone for growth. Making self-reflection a tangible part of your routine is easier than you might think. Start by choosing a regular time each day to pause for 5 or 10 minutes, either in the peaceful moments of morning or winding down at night. Find a comfortable spot, free from distractions, and bring a journal or sheet of paper if writing helps you focus. For a simple exercise, jot down one meaningful event from your day. Ask yourself how it made you feel, and consider what you've learned from it. If you prefer, simply sit quietly and notice your lingering thoughts and physical sensations, gently observing without judgment. Over time, these brief sessions evolve into cherished rituals that calm your mind and shift your perspective. In work or study, use reflective moments to evaluate how you approach projects, which methods energize you, and where improvement is possible. In relationships, these practices can help you understand your true feelings before important conversations, leading to more honest and harmonious interactions. Whether you're setting life goals or recovering from a tough setback, self-reflection becomes the lens that brings your truest desires and obstacles into focus. As you start this journey, remember that consistency is more powerful than perfection. Small steps, like a one-line entry in your journal or a single mindful breath before sleep, are enough to spark positive change over time. Every bit of effort is acknowledged and builds momentum, so be patient with yourself on days when life feels complicated. You'll discover that gradually, the process of reflecting becomes not just a task, but something you look forward to, a gentle meeting with your truest self, full of acceptance and curiosity. Celebrate even modest shifts in your thinking, and acknowledge each time you choose reflection over routine, as these moments lay the foundation for authentic, lasting growth. Remember, the most enduring changes begin with simple actions repeated over time. Embrace every challenge as a unique invitation to grow, no matter how small it seems at first. You are capable of sparking this light and guiding your journey forward. One thoughtful pause at a time. As you nurture this flame within, you'll be amazed at how quickly hope and inspiration blossom in your daily life. With the first sparks of awareness kindling inside you, it's time to discover how changing your mindset can fuel your journey even further. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to rewire your thoughts for greater positivity, setting the stage for deeper confidence and possibility. If you'd like to continue exploring personal growth topics, remember to subscribe to the Awaken Vision channel, like this video, and leave a comment with your thoughts or suggestions for future chapters. Your engagement fuels this community, so thank you for being part of our journey together. Chapter 2. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a spiral of negative thoughts, where every setback feels worse because your mind plays it on repeat? The problem of persistent negativity is more common than you might think. It sneaks into your morning as you glance at your to-do list and feel instantly overwhelmed, or shadows you throughout the day with whispers of self-doubt and worry. This mental loop can color every experience, making even minor challenges seem impossible to overcome. When your thoughts become a chorus of criticism or fear, it's hard to see the world with hopeful eyes or take steps toward things you genuinely want. Left unchecked, patterns of negativity can drain your energy, weaken your motivation, and slowly erode your self-worth, making it vital to address them before they take root. Understanding why these negative loops form and why they are so powerful is crucial. The human brain is wired to give more attention to potential threats than to positive experiences, a trait developed over thousands of years for survival. However, in modern life, this can mean you're constantly scanning for what could go wrong instead of celebrating what's going well. You might notice that an offhand comment from a colleague lingers in your mind for hours, while 10 compliments slide away unnoticed. Or maybe a single mistake at work makes you question all your abilities, overshadowing countless successes. This stubborn focus on the negative doesn't just bring you down emotionally. It shapes your outlook, choices, and even your relationships. If you've ever snapped at someone or turned down an opportunity because you felt not good enough, you've already experienced how powerful these thoughts can be. To see how automatic this habit becomes, think about Sarah, who always doubted her abilities at work even though she was often recognized for her success. One small oversight would haunt her, spiraling into thoughts like, "I always mess things up," or "Everyone probably thinks I'm incompetent." Over time, this cycle made her anxious, hesitant to voice her ideas, and resistant to new opportunities. Or reflect on Marcus, who let self-criticism darken his attempts to form meaningful friendships. Each time he sensed a hint of rejection, he assumed people didn't value him. These common scenarios show how negativity, left unchecked, colors your expectations of yourself and others, limiting your growth in all areas of life. But what if, instead of giving negativity the loudest voice in your mind, you could train it to focus on growth, optimism, and possibility? The good news is you are not powerless in the face of these patterns. Acknowledging how easily the brain gets hooked on negative thoughts is the beginning of turning the tide. Recognizing that it's a human trait, not just a personal flaw, reminds you that change is not only possible but natural with the right approach. There's a way to gently guide your thoughts so that optimism has the chance to take center stage. With practice and the desire to shift your perspective, you can learn to replace unhelpful patterns with those that empower and motivate you. As we move forward, you'll discover that small changes in thought can lead to profound changes in your life. The solution to breaking the cycle of negative thoughts lies in a process called cognitive reframing. Cognitive reframing is the practice of consciously changing the way you think about an event, experience, or belief. Instead of allowing automatic negative thoughts to take over, you learn to gently question them and replace them with more balanced, hopeful perspectives. This method is powerful because it doesn't urge you to ignore reality or force false positivity. Rather, it invites you to bring awareness to how your mind interprets situations and to intentionally look for evidence or alternative explanations that might be more realistic and encouraging than your habitual reaction. Psychological research shows that regularly engaging in reframing not only reduces stress and anxiety, but also boosts self-confidence and motivation. Understanding this process begins with noticing when a negative thought appears. Instead of immediately accepting the thought as truth, you practice stepping back and asking, is this the only way to see what's happening? For example, rather than concluding, I failed at this, I'm just not good enough, you might reframe it to, I made a mistake, but I'm still learning, and everyone makes mistakes sometimes. Over time, these subtle adjustments shift the whole tone of your inner dialogue and allow you to focus on growth rather than criticism. This approach is supported by studies in cognitive behavioral therapy, which consistently find that changing just a few habitual thought patterns can lead to lasting improvements in mood, hopefulness, and even physical health. It's important to understand why cognitive reframing works so well against negative thinking. The human brain forms neural pathways with repeated use. When you think the same kind of thought again and again, especially negative ones, your mind turns those patterns into default responses to stress, disappointment, or self-doubt. But every time you consciously challenge and alter a negative thought, you essentially teach your brain a new path, one of resilience and openness, rather than pessimism. Over time, even deeply rooted negative habits can be softened or changed, making it easier and more natural to respond to life in compassionate and optimistic ways. This is not about pretending problems don't exist, but about building your mind's capacity to approach them with hope and the belief that you can handle and learn from difficulty. The benefits of practicing cognitive reframing extend far beyond just feeling better in the moment. When you train yourself to recognize and replace unhelpful thoughts, you gain more control over your emotional world. Positivity feels more achievable, and setbacks become smaller chapters rather than the whole story. You start to interpret other people's words and actions with greater generosity and far less anxiety about rejection or judgment. Gradually, your self-talk becomes an ally, cheering you forward rather than pulling you back. Relationships improve when you're not carrying old assumptions about your worth. Productivity at work increases because you can recover more quickly from criticism or minor failures. Most importantly, life itself becomes richer and more open, as a mind trained for positivity seeks opportunity in every challenge and meaning in every experience. By replacing automatic negativity with thoughtful optimism, you create a cycle of growth and confidence, transforming how you experience the world from the inside out. Embracing cognitive reframing as a regular practice brings about a remarkable transformation in all areas of your life. With time, you'll notice newfound resilience in the face of everyday challenges, a gentle optimism that rises after setbacks, and an authentic sense of self-worth that isn't easily shaken by criticism or disappointment. The benefits ripple outward. You approach each day with more energy because your mind is no longer weighed down by the old soundtrack of negativity. Your relationships deepen as you express compassion for yourself and others. Work becomes more fulfilling as you treat mistakes as opportunities to learn, and your personal growth accelerates as you see progress not just in milestones, but in every thoughtful choice to redirect your thinking. To translate cognitive reframing from theory into daily action, start small and steady. When you catch yourself locked in a negative thought, take a pause and become aware of that moment. Notice if you are using harsh words with yourself, predicting worst-case outcomes, or focusing on a perceived flaw. Gently ask yourself, what evidence do I have that this thought is absolutely true? And is there another way to interpret this event or emotion? Give yourself permission to write down both the negative thought and a more balanced, healthier response beside it. For example, during a stressful work project, instead of spiraling into "I'm always behind," try reframing your thought to "I've met tight deadlines before, and I am resourceful in finding solutions." In your studies, if a test doesn't go as planned, notice if you're thinking, "I'm just not smart enough," and shift toward, "One test doesn't determine my worth or ability. I can adjust my study methods next time." For relationships, if a friend cancels plans, trade mourn. "They don't value me," for people have busy lives, and this isn't a judgment about our friendship. These small acts, repeated day by day, start to reshape your inner reality and bring self-kindness to the forefront. Over time, this shift becomes increasingly automatic, helping you navigate even the toughest days with self-encouragement. The brilliance of cognitive reframing is that mastery isn't needed to see results. Each attempt is a step forward, and even days when the spiral feels strong are opportunities to strengthen the new pathways you're building in your mind. Celebrate the moments you pause before judging yourself and take pride in every intention to find a brighter frame. Think of each mental reroute as planting a seed, a sign that you are nurturing your well-being and embracing the possibility of growth. Remind yourself that change rarely happens in giant leaps. Instead, every positive thought, every gentle challenge to a critical belief is a victory worth acknowledging. Let your journey be filled with hope and believe that every step counts. With persistence, you unlock a wellspring of positivity that shapes not just your days, but your whole life's story. Challenges are now doorways to new perspectives and deeper understanding. Reflect on your progress often, noticing how your world begins to expand as old patterns fade and new, empowering ones take their place. As you continue this journey of self-reflection and transformation, the next chapter will invite you to go even deeper by exploring how cultivating resilience and gratitude can fuel lasting happiness. If these insights resonate with you, remember to subscribe to the Awaken Vision channel, like this video, and share your encouragement, questions, or suggestions in the comments. Your engagement helps inspire others and keeps our community growing strong. Let's keep moving forward together. Chapter 3. What happens when life throws you a curveball, when your plans fall apart, or a challenge feels too heavy to carry? Everyone encounters setbacks, lost opportunities, unexpected disappointments, or days when nothing seems to go right. In those moments, it's easy to feel frustrated, defeated, or even powerless. These reactions are entirely human, but if repeated often enough, they can quietly build barriers between you and the happiness or progress you seek. Understanding how you handle adversity is essential, because your response can be the difference between getting stuck and growing stronger. Being unprepared emotionally for life's ups and downs drains motivation and hope, while strengthening your resilience and sense of gratitude, even in small ways, can renew your energy and provide you with a compass when everything else feels uncertain. Consider the story of Maya, who once poured all her hopes into getting a new job, only to receive a polite rejection letter instead. Her initial reaction was heartbreak and a harsh inner voice telling her she wasn't good enough. Days passed, and she found herself consumed by thoughts of failure, convinced no other good opportunity would come her way. Or think of David, who found his carefully built routine thrown off by sudden illness. Every plan he had carefully made needed to be paused or changed. He found himself frustrated with his situation, but realized, as time passed, that focusing on his anger and disappointment only deepened his stress and sense of loss. Both Maya and David's experiences reflect a common human pattern. When crisis or change appears, the mind initially responds with doubt or negativity, building stories around loss that can eclipse every other part of life. What makes these situations important to reflect on is that adversity, large or small, is an inescapable part of life. No one is immune. But the way you process and recover from these experiences has a profound effect on your future well-being. Many people try to push through hardships or ignore their emotions, believing strength means suppressing feelings. Others might focus solely on what's gone wrong, letting their identity and self-worth be defined by a setback. Both approaches only prolong suffering. Learning to see challenges not as dead ends, but as opportunities to grow changes the way you move through the world. And when gratitude is woven into that process, when you take the time to recognize what remains good, even in difficulty, your capacity to endure hardships multiplies. A resilient mindset is not about denying pain or disappointment. It's about acknowledging them honestly and responding by asking, what can I learn here? What can I still be grateful for right now? You are not alone if resenting hardship or losing sight of gratitude feels natural to you. These habits are deeply rooted and reinforced by a culture that often values endless striving over acceptance and patience. Yet, within every challenge lies a hidden invitation to pause, reflect, and discover how much stronger and wiser you've become through the struggle. As we delve deeper into this chapter, you'll discover how blending resilience with gratitude equips you not just to survive life's storms, but to thrive, finding hope and meaning in unexpected places. The solution to overcoming adversity and finding a deeper sense of happiness lies in consciously cultivating both resilience and gratitude. Resilience is the inner strength to recover from setbacks, adapt to change, and bounce back stronger, while gratitude is the ability to notice and appreciate positive things, even when life is difficult. When these qualities grow together, they create a foundation that helps you face whatever comes your way without losing hope, clarity, or self-worth. By understanding how to nurture resilience and gratitude, you create a mental toolkit that empowers you to turn challenges into opportunities for healing and transformation. Resilience, at its heart, is less about avoiding hardship and more about how you interpret and respond to it. People who are resilient do not see failure as a sign to stop trying, but as a chance to change course or gather important lessons. This approach is powerful because it gently retrains your mind. Instead of focusing on what's lost, the mind shifts attention to possibilities and alternatives. Psychologists have found that resilient individuals tend to view difficult situations as temporary rather than permanent, which helps them navigate turbulent times without sinking into despair. The way you explain setbacks to yourself, whether as insurmountable flaws or temporary obstacles, strongly influences your ability to heal and move forward. Embracing resilience means giving yourself permission to acknowledge unpleasant emotions without letting them shape your entire story. Gratitude, though seemingly simple, is a transformative tool for changing the emotional landscape of your mind. Scientific studies consistently show that people who make a habit of gratitude experience less stress, greater happiness, and improved physical health. When you practice noticing what's right in your life, even during tough moments, your outlook changes. The human brain uses repetition to create habit, so by looking for reasons to appreciate everyday moments, like a comforting meal, a supportive friend, or just a moment of peace, you actually train your mind to let joy coexist with disappointment or frustration. Gratitude does not erase pain, but it provides balance, shifting your internal focus toward hope and abundance. Combining resilience with gratitude changes how you respond to struggles both great and small. For example, after a missed opportunity, practicing resilience might mean acknowledging your frustration, but also searching for lessons or alternative paths. Gratitude adds another layer by asking what remains going well: relationships, your strengths, even your determination. Together, these habits support each other. When setbacks occur, gratitude softens the blow and resilience lifts you back up. Over time, each effort to bounce back and give thanks, however modest, deepens your well-being and makes you less reactive to stress. What makes this combination so beneficial is that it doesn't require a perfect life or extraordinary events to flourish. These habits are built step by step through simple, practical actions that anyone can take. As you practice, every effort reinforces your mental flexibility, allowing you to face future hardships with more peace and less fear. This isn't just theory. Studies reveal that people who master resilience and gratitude lead happier and healthier lives, enjoy deeper connections, and recover more quickly from adversity. By weaving these qualities into daily routines, you discover not only the strength to endure hard times, but also the wisdom and openness to cherish every bright moment along the way. Welcoming resilience and gratitude into your daily life can unlock a wellspring of positivity and confidence. These qualities do more than simply help you survive hard times. They give you the ability to move through challenges with hope, shift your perspective during moments of struggle, and truly enjoy the present. When you build these habits, you discover that you do not have to control everything. What matters is how you respond, recover, and continue growing, no matter what comes your way. With consistent practice, resilience boosts your self-trust and problem-solving skills, and gratitude allows you to find light even during challenging days. This combination leads to deeper relationships, greater life satisfaction, young hope for the future, and a deep sense of inner security. Getting started does not require grand gestures or major overhauls in your life. Begin by setting aside a moment each day, perhaps as you wake up, before a meal, or when you settle in for the night, to identify something you are grateful for, no matter how small. Write it down or say it out loud so your mind can register it as real. If you're facing a setback, gently remind yourself it is a temporary event, not a reflection of your overall worth or abilities. Picture a student who struggles with a difficult subject. Instead of fixating on frustration, they can focus on the progress they've made so far and find gratitude for the chance to learn at their own pace. In the work setting, when stress mounts or projects become overwhelming, use short pauses, taking deep breaths and reminding yourself that you have overcome difficulties before. When misunderstandings happen in a relationship, practice resilience by choosing to listen calmly instead of reacting defensively, and find gratitude in the opportunity to build understanding rather than widening a gap. You can also keep a simple gratitude journal where you list 3 things each day that brought you comfort, happiness, or pride. This exercise, which takes only a few minutes, gradually trains your brain to spot blessings hidden amidst busy or difficult days. To practice resilience, reflect honestly after a challenge about what you did well, what helped you get through, and what you might do differently next time. Speak kindly to yourself, acknowledging that growth is a journey made of small, determined steps. By repeating these practices, you create a cycle where every challenge becomes a lesson, and every act of appreciation fuels your ability to handle the next hurdle. Most importantly, celebrate your consistency and don't diminish the power of small wins. Expect moments of doubt or frustration, but recognize these as normal parts of becoming stronger and more grounded. Each effort you make lays a brick on the path to lasting confidence and joy, turning even setbacks into opportunities to rise higher. Reflect often, and let each new beginning inspire gratitude for how far you have come. In the next chapter, we'll explore how harnessing the power of perspective can transform the way you relate to life's ongoing story and deepen your sense of meaning. If this chapter spoke to you, consider subscribing to the Awaken Vision channel, giving the video a like, or adding your insights and suggestions in the comments below. Your engagement grows our community and helps others begin their journey too. Together, let's discover how powerful small changes in mindset can become. Chapter 4. Have you ever noticed how the same situation can look completely different depending on how you view it? 2 people can experience the exact same event, yet one feels defeated while the other feels inspired. This difference isn't always about the facts. It's about perspective, the unique lens through which you interpret the world around you. Often, when life gets tough or unexpected challenges arise, your default perspective can easily narrow. You might find yourself stuck in a loop of frustration, convinced there's no way forward, or see every obstacle as a personal failure. Without realizing it, your perspective can shrink troubles until they feel like the entire horizon, while blurring out any possibilities for hope, meaning, or solutions. The importance of understanding this problem lies in how powerful yet subtle the influence of perspective can be on everything you experience. If left unchecked, an unhelpful perspective can cloud your judgment and make even simple setbacks feel overwhelming. Think of Sam, who lost a highly anticipated promotion at work. His first reaction was disappointment, quickly followed by the feeling that all his efforts might have been worthless. For days, he replayed negative thoughts, convinced that future successes were now out of reach. Meanwhile, his colleague Lisa, who also didn't get promoted, saw this moment as a signal to seek out feedback, learn new skills, and embrace the opportunity to connect with different parts of the company. Sam and Lisa faced the same event, but their perspectives colored how they recovered. Without Lisa's wider outlook, she might also have been caught in a cycle of doubt and frustration. Or picture Emily, who struggled through a series of job rejections. At first, she viewed each no as further proof that she wasn't good enough. But with time and some guidance from mentors, she started to see these rejections as redirections, slowly realizing that each step was bringing her closer to the right fit. These scenarios highlight a simple truth. Your perspective can either confine you or help you see new paths amid setbacks. It is vital to recognize how this invisible lens works, because without that awareness, it's easy to latch onto the same unhelpful interpretations again and again. Most people never stop to question whether their way of seeing things is set in stone or simply a result of old habits or past disappointments. Unfortunately, when you only see options through a narrow or negative perspective, it influences how you act and what outcomes you imagine are possible. When your mind zeroes in on what's missing, what hurts, or what didn't go right, you're less likely to take action, reach out, or notice that hidden opportunities could be just around the corner. But this challenge also brings a powerful opportunity, because perspective is not something you are born with or stuck with forever. It's a skill, one that can be explored, shifted, and refined with intention and curiosity. By learning to harness the power of perspective, you open the door to more confidence, flexibility, and creativity in how you face life's twists and turns. As you move forward, you'll see how even the smallest shift in perspective can turn setbacks into surprising sources of growth, making the whole journey not only more bearable, but filled with unexpected purpose. The solution to feeling trapped by a narrow perspective comes from learning how to shift your mental lens, to see the same events from new angles and with greater openness. This intentional shift, sometimes described as cognitive reframing or adopting a growth mindset, means asking yourself questions that help you examine situations more creatively and compassionately. It encourages you to move beyond initial reactions shaped by old patterns or disappointments, and to look for potential lessons, hidden strengths, and opportunities you might otherwise overlook. The power in this solution is not about denying your struggles or pretending setbacks don't matter. Instead, it helps you step back long enough to recognize that your first reaction is just one possibility among many, and that there are always different ways to experience any moment or event. This approach works because our thoughts powerfully shape our emotional responses and choices. Psychological studies consistently reveal that individuals who deliberately practice viewing their challenges from multiple perspectives are less likely to become stuck in feelings of helplessness or resentment. For example, rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" which can leave you feeling victimized and powerless, you can gently turn the question around and ask, "What can I learn from this?" Or "How might this situation benefit me in the long run?" Questions like these activate your brain's natural curiosity and problem-solving abilities, helping you to access fresh insights and hope when things seem bleak. Over time, this not only improves emotional well-being, but also increases your ability to solve problems and adapt to change. The reason this solution is so beneficial is that every situation, no matter how difficult, includes more possibilities than are currently visible from a single perspective. By actively seeking alternative viewpoints, you find new resources, build mental flexibility, and become less likely to define yourself by any one disappointment or success. When practiced regularly, shifting perspective can protect you from cycles of negativity and self-doubt. This also opens you up to unexpected opportunities. What seemed like a setback a week ago can reveal itself as the turning point for growth or a doorway into new connections and experiences. When you become adept at seeing difficult moments through a lens of possibility rather than frustration, you reduce stress and build a sense of agency that no external circumstance can easily shake. One of the most empowering aspects of learning to shift perspective is the way it transforms relationships as well as personal growth. By challenging your own assumptions, for instance, Considering why a friend acted a certain way, or what pressures a team member might be facing, you develop empathy and patience, resulting in fewer misunderstandings and greater harmony. Furthermore, giving yourself permission to step back and reconsider your own setbacks as part of a larger journey can give meaning to your efforts even on the hardest days. This practice builds not only a richer sense of self, but a resilient optimism, allowing you to move through life with both humility and confidence. Ultimately, learning how to harness the power of perspective leaves you better prepared to face any challenge with calm determination, creativity, and hope. Practicing the art of shifting your perspective can fill your life with new possibilities, greater resilience, and deeper satisfaction. As you learn to see events from a wider or more hopeful angle, the emotional grip of setbacks begins to loosen. You'll find yourself feeling less trapped by frustration, disappointment, or fear of failure, and more able to approach challenges as invitations to grow and learn. This subtle internal shift fosters greater creativity, encourages problem solving, and deepens your ability to connect with others. In personal growth, adopting different perspectives opens doors that once felt locked, turning past regrets or fears into stepping stones for the future. In relationships, you become less reactive and more understanding. In work or study, it sparks new ideas, turns criticism into opportunities for skill building, and makes obstacles feel like temporary detours rather than dead ends. Over time, your sense of self expands with each experience viewed through this empowering lens. To put this principle into daily practice, start by noticing moments when you feel stuck in a single way of thinking. When frustration, judgment, or hopelessness arises, pause for a quiet check-in and ask yourself a few simple questions. Is there another way of looking at this? What might I be missing? Could there be a bigger picture I'm not seeing yet? You can make a habit of writing down one challenge and brainstorming 2 or 3 alternative explanations or positive lessons that could come out of it. When faced with conflict in a relationship, practice imagining the other person's point of view, even if you don't fully agree. In studying or work, if a plan goes off course, step back and ask what unexpected skills or insights you've gained through the experience. Taking a brief walk, talking to a supportive friend with a different outlook, or even reading inspiring stories of others who have thrived after setbacks can help jog your mind into seeing more than just the negatives. Small acts like these, done regularly, retrain your brain to be flexible and adaptable, so you'll find it more natural to shift views when the unexpected arises. Consistency is more powerful than perfection. Reflect on each success, whether it's a single thought you managed to see differently or a larger shift in how you view your own journey. Notice the growing inner quiet as you learn not to let challenges define you emotionally. Celebrate your progress without rushing, and be gentle with the days when perspective feels elusive. This practice is not about being unshakably optimistic at all times, but building the capacity to respond to life with curiosity and hope. Your life's path will feel broader and more exciting every time you choose to see the world with fresh eyes. Remember, every great change is made up of many small shifts. As you continue to practice seeing the bigger picture, you not only improve your own well-being, but also become a source of reassurance and inspiration for those around you. Challenges become launching pads for growth, and life's unpredictability turns from a source of stress to one of adventure. The next chapter dives even deeper, guiding you through techniques to master emotional energy shifts, showing you how to navigate strong feelings with clarity rather than letting them take over. If this content inspired you, remember to subscribe to the Awaken Vision channel, give the video a like, or share your personal insights and suggestions in the comments. Your voice helps this positive community grow stronger, and together, we keep moving forward one purposeful step at a time. Chapter 5. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your emotions, as if a wave of frustration, sadness, or anxiety swept in and left you feeling powerless? Sometimes, a small trigger, a comment, a mistake, or even an unexpected change can escalate into a whoosh of negative feelings that dominate your thoughts and sap your drive. Maybe you've experienced these moments at work, when pressure intensifies, or in relationships when a disagreement lingers and changes your whole mood for the day. It's a common struggle. Emotions can seem unpredictable and uncontrollable, making you react in ways that later feel out of character. When left unchecked, these emotional surges build up stress, cloud your decisions, and take a toll on your health and happiness. That's why it's crucial to understand how emotional energy impacts your life and how learning to work with it, rather than against it, can transform your sense of self-control, peace, and fulfillment. Many people cope by trying to suppress or ignore strong feelings, hoping they'll fade on their own. However, this often creates even greater tension, as emotions pushed aside tend to resurface even stronger. Sometimes you might swing to the other extreme and let emotions take complete control, finding yourself snapping at loved ones, procrastinating on important work, or spiraling into cycles of regret. Consider Ben, who often brushes off his stress during the day, believing he should be able to tough it out. By evening, that bottled-up tension spills over at home, making him short-tempered with his family. Or think about Olivia, who struggles with waves of insecurity. When her fear of being judged rises, she feels drained and becomes withdrawn, missing out on rewarding connections and opportunities. Both Ben and Olivia's experiences illustrate a challenge many of us face: the belief that emotions are obstacles rather than signals providing important information about our needs and desires. It's important to recognize that emotional surges are normal responses, not flaws or failures. Our moods shift naturally throughout the day, shaped by interactions, memories, and even our physical state. Yet if we don't develop the skills to notice, understand, and intentionally shift our emotional energy, we risk letting those moods guide our actions in directions that don't serve us. Even successful people, those who seem calm and steady on the outside, often admit they have learned to manage, not eliminate, strong emotions. The real breakthrough comes when you accept your emotions as a form of energy that can be noticed, guided, and transformed, instead of seeing them as something you're powerless against. Mastering emotional energy does not mean always being cheerful or never feeling upset. It means cultivating awareness and flexibility, giving you the option to pause, assess your feelings, and consciously redirect your focus toward helpful thoughts and actions. By understanding this, you set the stage for a life with less internal struggle and more moments of clarity, calm, and authentic joy. Each feeling then becomes a messenger, a guide with its own unique lesson, rather than a hurdle in your path. And as you grow in this skill, emotional balance feels less like a distant goal and more like an ability you can gently develop every day. The path to mastering your emotional energy starts with self-awareness, recognizing and naming the feelings that arise before they gain control over your actions. When you pay attention to what you're feeling in the moment, you give yourself the chance to pause, observe, and gently gain distance from even the strongest waves of emotion. This act alone interrupts the automatic cycle where emotion immediately fuels reaction. Science supports this. Research in emotional intelligence shows that people who regularly label their emotions experience less stress and react less impulsively than those who bottle up or ignore their feelings. Naming your emotional state moves you from being entangled in it to being an observer, someone who recognizes anger, frustration, sadness, or anxiety as temporary energy rather than a permanent identity. Once you have acknowledged your feelings, the next step involves understanding their origin and message. Ask yourself what these emotions are trying to communicate. Are you overwhelmed from too much responsibility? Are you feeling unappreciated or afraid of making a mistake? Approaching your emotions with curiosity, rather than judgment, reveals their deeper cause and points to solutions you may not have considered. For instance, frustration in a work environment might signal a need for clearer communication or boundaries. Anxiety before a presentation could point to a desire to prepare more or seek support from colleagues. By aligning your actions with the insights gained from these questions, you empower yourself to address core needs rather than just enduring discomfort. The next phase is intentionally shifting emotional energy. This isn't about forcing yourself to feel happy when you don't, but about using simple, effective strategies to change how emotions move through you. Techniques such as focused breathing, mindful pauses, gentle movement, or changing your immediate environment can all redirect your emotional current, creating space for a different mood to emerge. Evidence from mindfulness research, for example, consistently shows that a few minutes of focused breathing reduces the physiological symptoms of stress and increases feelings of calm and clarity. By slowing your breath, you signal your body that it's safe, allowing your mind to regain balance. Small rituals, a walk around the block, journaling brief thoughts, or even stepping into a different room, often disrupt the power of difficult feelings and offer fresh perspectives. This solution is so beneficial because it replaces helplessness with gentle possibility. Instead of fearing negative emotions or feeling at their mercy, you develop trust in your ability to work with them. Over time, you start to move through anger, sadness, or anxiety more swiftly, regaining your energy and sense of direction. When you interact with others, this skill enhances empathy and patience. You're more likely to listen deeply, respond calmly, and resist letting emotion-fueled misunderstandings define your relationships. In every context, at home, at work, or among friends, emotional agility becomes a powerful resource for personal and social growth. Practicing these shifts transforms emotional ups and downs from obstacles into guides, teaching you resilience, adaptability, and self-care. With each cycle, you'll find emotion is no longer a foe, but a vital, manageable part of a life that's rich, responsive, and fully felt. When you make a habit of mastering emotional energy shifts, you open the door to stronger self-control, brighter moods, and lasting well-being. The ability to recognize, understand, and guide your emotions means you don't have to be swept away by stress or frustration. Instead, you gain the power to swiftly return to calm, choose thoughtful words in sensitive moments, and keep your mind clear even when unexpected challenges arise. In your personal growth, this habit builds self-compassion and resilience, helping you respond gracefully to setbacks and keep your motivation alive. Your relationships thrive as your emotional stability creates space for kindness, patience, and better understanding with those around you. At work or school, managing your emotional energy frees you from the draining impact of anger or anxiety, unlocking creativity and focus so you perform at your true best. Over time, you discover that emotional awareness doesn't diminish your feelings. It illuminates your strengths and deepens your experience of everyday life. To build this skill, begin each day by carving out a few minutes for self-check-in. Pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Label the emotion, whether it's tension, excitement, uncertainty, or hope. Next, try breathing slowly and deeply for 5 breaths, letting each inhale and exhale ground you in the present rather than in your worries. When you notice a strong emotion, imagine putting a small pause between the feeling and any response. Remind yourself, feeling this way is normal and temporary, not something that controls who you are. If you have time, jot down a sentence or two about the emotion and what might be causing it. Then select a gentle action to help transform the feeling. Step outside, listen to calming music, send a kind message to someone, or redirect your focus to a positive or meaningful task. Throughout the day, practice these brief emotional resets as needed. Even a 30-second pause in the middle of a heated discussion can help you choose a wiser reply and conserve your emotional energy. Practical examples highlight how effective these simple habits can be. If you're a student facing exam anxiety, notice and accept the feeling, take a few grounding breaths, and channel the nervous energy into a timed study sprint or a review session with a supportive peer. In the office, if disagreement sparks frustration, step away for a minute to collect your thoughts and return to the conversation ready to listen and collaborate instead of reacting defensively. In relationships, replace silent resentment with honest, calm expression or a quiet moment of reflection before responding. Each positive interaction builds emotional trust and connection. Remember, every successful shift, however minor, reinforces your internal sense of competence and lowers stress for the next time. Let every step, no matter how small, be a sign of progress. Perfection is never the goal. It is your willingness to notice feelings, slow down, and gently shift your emotional energy that steadily brings you confidence and calm. With patience and regular practice, you will cultivate an inner balance that shines through your daily life, carrying you through difficult moments and illuminating your best days even more brightly. In the next chapter, you'll discover how to sustain this growing light for long-term personal growth and fulfillment, making these positive changes a natural and deeply rooted part of your life. If these strategies feel helpful and empowering, consider subscribing to the Awaken Vision channel, liking the video, or sharing your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. Your journey inspires others, and together we can create a thriving and supportive community. Reflect on how far you've come and step forward with renewed hope, ready for what comes next. Chapter 6. Staying on the path of positive change can be one of life's biggest challenges. After initial progress, many people discover that the real test is not finding inspiration to start, but learning how to keep going when the excitement fades, routine settles in, or unexpected setbacks appear. Think back to a moment when you felt clear, motivated, and committed to making improvements in your life. Maybe it was after a powerful workshop, a good conversation with a mentor, or an honest, hopeful day where change felt possible. At first, every new habit or fresh perspective seems to fit perfectly into life, lighting up each day with possibility. Yet over time, even the brightest intentions can dim. Old patterns quietly slip back in, distractions multiply, or gradual doubt seeps in, making it easy to wonder whether true, lasting growth is even possible. Understanding this challenge is crucial because the desire for change alone rarely sustains progress. Lasting growth happens in everyday, sometimes ordinary moments when you must choose again and again to act in alignment with your best intentions. For example, Rachel set out to maintain a gratitude journal after seeing how it improved her outlook, but when her schedule became hectic, she stopped taking time each evening to reflect. Soon, she noticed a decline in her optimism and sense of direction. Or consider Chris, who committed to handling workplace stress with calm mindfulness, but then a series of stressful projects chipped away at his practice, leaving him overwhelmed again. These stories are not failures. They are proof of a common cycle many experience on the journey of growth. It's easy to be hard on yourself when progress isn't linear, but in reality, every cycle provides an opportunity to re-engage with your inner light and cultivate resilience for the future. The struggle to sustain positive change can feel isolating, but in truth, it is a shared experience. Everyone faces moments when enthusiasm wavers and self-doubt creeps in. What's important is not demanding perfection from yourself, but understanding what causes change to stall and learning how to respond with patience and self-compassion instead. Challenges will come in the form of busy schedules, fatigue, discouraging feedback, or the quiet temptation to fall back on comfortable habits. If you expect setbacks and accept them as natural milestones in your growth, not as final defeats, you open yourself up to profound learning and deeper, more meaningful habits. Every time you notice yourself slipping, it is an invitation to pause, not to judge, but to reconnect with what initially mattered most. That's why the focus now shifts from simply sparking change to nurturing and protecting it, like keeping a candle alive in a gentle breeze. Lifelong growth is built through consistent, mindful maintenance and renewal, no matter the circumstances. As you prepare to explore tangible strategies in this chapter, remind yourself that real, sustainable transformation isn't about grand gestures. It's the product of choosing, over and over again, to return to practices and beliefs that bring you closer to the person you truly wish to become. In these humble, everyday choices, the journey continues, fueled by hope and a growing certainty that your inner light can burn steadily for years to come. The solution to sustaining positive change in your life begins with the practice of gentle consistency. Gentle consistency does not mean the pursuit of flawlessness or forcing yourself to uphold new habits through sheer willpower. Instead, it involves approaching each day with intention, while embracing your human limits and remembering that it is the act of returning to your values each time you stray, rather than never straying at all, that builds lasting growth. This solution works because it centers on realistic self-expectations, self-forgiveness, and simple rituals that anchor your routine even when motivation is low or distractions multiply. Rather than seeing obstacles or moments of setback as failures, you are taught to view them as signals or reminders to pause, reset, and return to what matters most. Research in behavior science confirms that tiny, consistent actions, called atomic habits, are the backbone of sustainable change. Instead of overwhelming yourself with monumental goals, focusing on small, repeatable actions makes routines less daunting and easier to maintain. These actions could be as straightforward as taking 2 minutes for reflection every morning, journaling one line of gratitude before bed, or using a mindful breath between tasks. Over time, these rituals develop into powerful cornerstones of your daily life, subtly rewiring your brain toward your chosen mindset and priorities. The beauty of this approach is in its forgiving nature. It honors progress that is uneven, allowing you to restart as many times as needed, without discouragement or self-criticism. This not only makes new habits stickier, but also fortifies your sense of self-worth because you learn to trust your ability to course correct and begin again. Crucially, this process is beneficial because it transforms setbacks from stopping points into meaningful stepping stones for learning. When you inevitably lose momentum, if you skip a day, feel less inspired, or face unexpected stress, you simply notice the drift and bring yourself back with compassion, like returning to the right path after a gentle detour. This shift in mindset removes guilt and fosters resilience. You learn to celebrate consistency, not perfection, and discover that genuine growth flourishes as part of a flexible rhythm rather than through unyielding force. Over time, this builds the persistence and self-compassion that empower individuals to carry changes through life's many seasons. Furthermore, connecting your new routines to personal values provides additional fuel for sustainability. When your rituals flow naturally from what you most care about, such as health, kindness, adventure, or inner peace, they are easier to defend against the pressures of daily life. Gentle consistency also encourages ongoing reflection. Checking in with yourself at regular intervals, perhaps at the end of the week or month, reaffirms your sense of progress and invites you to adjust goals as your needs and circumstances evolve. This ongoing dialogue keeps your efforts both fresh and meaningful, creating a living pattern of resilience that outlasts temporary bursts of motivation. In the end, this way of living moves you away from all-or-nothing thinking, placing you firmly on the middle path where even the smallest action counts towards sustaining your inner flame. Through gentle consistency, long-term change feels less like a struggle and more like a companion, moving forward with you, one choice at a time. When you practice gentle consistency, remarkable positive changes begin to unfold in all dimensions of your life. This healthy approach softens the pressure of perfection and transforms growth into a supportive journey where you notice lasting improvements in your resilience, mood, and self-trust. By allowing yourself to be imperfect but dedicated, you make it possible to stick with positive routines on both easy days and challenging ones. Over time, you just naturally find yourself returning to helpful habits, grounding thoughts, and growth-focused mindsets because they fit more easily into your life. The ability to renew your commitment again and again also builds strength. You become someone who can weather ups and downs without quitting dreams at the first sign of struggle. Lessons gained from each return make your good habits even sturdier and your self-belief more authentic. Instead of giving energy to self-blame when you wander from your intended path, you celebrate each time you come back, reinforcing a loop of self-care, self-respect, and long-term personal development. To turn gentle consistency into a daily practice, start with 1 or 2 small actions you can sustain, no matter what the rest of your day demands. For example, you might wake up each morning and take one mindful breath as you remember your intention for the day. You might revisit your goals or review your values for a few minutes each week, or keep a note card with a simple affirmation in your bag. Maybe you set a recurring reminder on your phone to check in with yourself midday, simply asking, "Am I living today in alignment with my purpose?" Realistic and forgiving steps are key. If you forget or skip a routine, notice it without frustration and come back to it at the next opportunity. Weekly reflection. pausing on a Sunday night to jot down moments of progress and gratitude can restore motivation and show you how even inconsistent efforts add up to visible growth. When priorities shift during busy periods, adapt your rituals instead of abandoning them altogether. Perhaps swap a long journaling session for a single line each day, or change from a daily walk to a few slow, conscious breaths when you're short on time. The aim isn't perfection but continuity, the gentle accumulation of actions chosen with care and kindness. In practice, you'll see this approach thrive everywhere in your life. In personal wellness, gentle consistency might look like returning to healthy food choices the day after a detour, rather than punishing yourself or quitting. In relationships, it plays out as repairing connection through apology, forgiveness, or regular check-ins when discord arises. At work or in studies, it means redefining achievement as steady effort over weeks and months, not a single grand project done all at once. What stands out in every area is the freedom to pause, reassess, and begin anew. Each recommitment not a defeat, but a deeper affirmation of your values and long-term hopes. Let each small step offered by gentle consistency fill you with pride, curiosity, and optimism. Every renewal is proof that growth is not only possible, but sustainable. Your imperfections become teachers, and your resilience grows with each choice to return rather than give up. Real change flourishes in these continuing cycles of intention and renewal, quietly shaping you into someone who persists with hope despite setbacks. You already hold the power to nurture this steady light. Let every act of returning, however modest, be a reminder that transformation is a journey, measured not in leaps, but in faithful steps forward. As this chapter concludes, celebrate your commitment to sustaining your inner flame and maintaining a path of genuine growth. Each day you choose to gently return to your best intentions, you pour fuel into long-lasting change. Take a moment to reflect on where you began, the lessons gained, and the newfound resilience that will carry you into every tomorrow with quiet confidence. This enduring dedication is what shapes lives, builds character, and proves again and again that growth is always within reach. As we reach the conclusion of this journey, remember that true clarity and personal growth are rooted in the daily practice of self-reflection. Throughout this book, you have learned how to ignite your inner flame, rewire your thoughts for positivity, build resilience, expand your perspective, manage emotional energy, and sustain your progress through gentle consistency. Each chapter offers practical, compassionate guidance to help you transform challenges into opportunities and move closer to the truest version of yourself. Thank you for investing your time and energy in watching and learning with us. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to growth and self-discovery. If these insights have inspired you or brought value to your life, please remember to like this video, leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments, and subscribe to the Awaken Vision channel. Your engagement helps our community continue to grow, learn, and shine together.